Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Plummer.
Good afternoon. How is everybody doing today? It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. It is a Tuesday morning, and fuck, I gotta go back to work. Been hot as shit out there. So how's everybody's Tuesday going? It is an Ask the Host Tuesday because there isn't much out there for content. Um, just did my. I think I ended up with 11. Nope, I ended up with 10. I just did my top 11 wide receivers because somebody challenged me to that. I wasn't ready to do tight ends, and oh yeah, I know it's feels like the hot breath of Satan outside. Staying cool, JB. Yeah, I'm staying in the house. Whew. Wow. What a day. So what do you guys want to know? What do you want to talk about? It is dead news phase. So it's talk about anything you want. Man, no one wants to talk. Heard any more about Bugs? I just know he was arrested. Uh, second degree domestic violence and attempted burglary. What game am I most excited for this season? Dallas. Because if we can win that game at Dallas, that means more to our season than the one at the end of the season for an early start to get an early run going. Ralph Williams, RW Media. Good to see you, sir. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. He's always on for my NFL Roundtable Talk. He's going to be a staple on here now on Wednesday night. He covers the Steelers and all things Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh area, I believe. But yeah, Michigan Go Blue 1, 2, 3, 4. That 100% is probably my most excited game because it's early in the season while all the teams are still gelling together. Detroit fan man, someone is always going to say something negative. Did we overpay Goff? That's what the market bore. And we saved money this year. Evidently, that guy doesn't understand cap space because we'd have franchise tagged him, we'd be sitting with about 12 million left right now compared to doing the restructure we did. Some guys got the common sense God gave a goalpost. When I saw how the contract broke down, I immediately said, this was a great contract. Oh, that's beautiful. 1.8 million with 150,000 guaranteed. That's a beautiful contract. Nobody should be upset with that. Will Vogel, good to see you, young man. Man, oh man. I don't get how people don't understand common sense and cap space and all of this. Yeah, if we'd have tagged Goff, that means we're left with exactly what we got back in the Cam Sutton contract void. Brad Holmes has never spent that much unless he's had so much in uh, dead cap he didn't have a choice. That's easy, JB. Common sense just ain't common. Yeah, I know. I've been saying it for years. Should be called uncommon sense because almost no one has it anymore. So my buddies over there at the main event challenged me to do some top 11s. They started off with tight ends last night. I think quarterback's a little too easy. He said 11 because there's 16 teams in the league, and it makes it a little harder to come up with that 11th guy. But if you go purely off of stats, and that's yards per catch, touchdowns, receptions, and of course PFF score because they throw in blocking for tight ends. Laporta's number 3 in the NFC, according to that. And you won't believe who got 2, even though he missed a few games. It's Kittle, Hawk, Laporta, Trey McBride. Taysom Hill was top 5. Jake Ferguson, Cole Kmet, Dallas Goddard, Darren Waller, who's now retired, Luke Musgrave, and Kyle Pitts, in that order. And you know what's funny is on their show, I said I would put Kyle Pitts at 11. And that was without looking up the stats. I said I would put Kyle Pitts at 11. But at the same time, that was Arthur Smith failure to use a tight end who now runs and is a allergy to the end zone. Is what I'm getting at. It's more about the play calling he's had there since he's been there. Arthur Smith was not the right guy. Good to see you, Dwayne King. Good afternoon to all. Let's go, Detroit Lions. One pride. But that's 1 through 11. That's taking their stats, putting them in an order, and then adding in the PFF. And that's where you come up with that. But Taysom Hill is at 5 because he spent more snaps at tight end last year than he did at any other position. So he graded out at tight end. For a minute there, he was the number 1 paid tight end in the league because he barely played backup quarterback. Yes. Kyle Pitts probably secretly is genetically related to Julio Jones with the same allergy to the end zone, just not receiving the volume of targets. Because of his versatility, I have always liked Taysom Hill. I agree because he plays everywhere. He plays running back, he plays tight end, he plays slot receiver. He's a gadget player, and he's willing to block. It's Stupid how much stuff he's willing to do. And I do my rankings without rookies that haven't played. So I'm not throwing in anybody that's a rookie. Because until they play, regardless of position, they don't deserve to be on a top list anywhere, in my opinion. Because we have seen busts at wide receiver, we've seen them at tight end, we've seen them at O line, we've seen them at D line, we've seen them at quarterback. The bust rate in the first round is 68%, regardless of where you are. But specifically at pick number one, your most successful picks at pick number one has been wide receiver, running back, O line, D line. Oh, nothing. I'm just getting ready to go over a couple of top 11 lists I made this morning using PFF stats and stuff like that and personal opinion. But I don't think anybody's going to be mad at it. I think somebody's going to be surprised because I use durability in my equation, especially at wide receiver, which is a bigger need to have a playmaker at than at tight end. Because backup tight ends can come in for 2 or 3 games and do adequate enough to help your team, whether they're a better blocker or a better receiver. It depends on the tight end situation. So let's go over my top 11 tight ends. I'm going to start from the bottom. At number 11, Kyle Pitts. Guy can't find the end zone. And whether that's by play design, play calling, bad QB play, doesn't matter. The guy's got 3 touchdowns in 3 years, and 2 of them were this past season. So he doubled his touchdown production from the year before. Good for him. Luke Musgrave of the Packers. I got him at 10. Darren Waller, who's now retired, is number 9. Dallas Goddard of the Philadelphia Phillies is there at 8. Komet at 7. Jake Ferguson at 6. Taysom Hill at 5. Trey McBride at 4. Sam Laporta's at 3. Because even though he was a better run blocker for us, he wasn't the second best run blocker. So great at receiving, but I got him at 3. And unfortunately, and the homers are going to hate me, but TJ Hawkinson is 2 and Kittle's 1. That's my list. Now on to wide receivers. Well, what do you think of that list? Does anybody disagree with it? I personally would. I I want to put Laporta at 2. He did a lot of things, but it was a rookie year, and I need to see another year of it. I said the same thing about Hawkinson when we made the trade and how much improved he was with Minnesota. I needed to see a second year, and he gave us a second year of it. He was actually really good for him. You agree with that list? Okay, that's good, Will. If you have Hawk outside your top 5 in the NFL, you didn't watch football last year. That's all I know. And that's overall, that's AFC and NFC combined. So maybe I'm going to stop picking on TJ Droppinson as much. But I did see he had a couple key drops. I did see, you know, he still goes down pretty much at first contact. He very rarely breaks tackles. So let's get into this wide receiver list because I want mine to release before. And just because he's a veteran and he's stable and he's in a good situation where he might not have to be the focal point of an offense, I threw someone in that I might not have, should have. But because he's a vet and he's proven, I'm putting him here. Only two teams got uh, guys in the top 11 and an honorable mention to a third because I just decided to add him because he deserves to be there. Make it four teams got because two got honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Tyler Lockett and Cooper Cup. Cup had a down year mostly because of the emergence of Pukua Nakau, but and Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks. Those are my honorable mentions on this list. I gave the nod to Keenan Allen because he has yet to have this much talent around him to help protect him. And they might be able to rotate him more because they do have a little depth there in Chicago. But you got Chris Godwin at 10, DK Metcalf at 9, Mike Evans at 8, Chris Olave at 7, Debo Samuel at 6. Oh, I forgot that they got two also. Okay. DJ Moore, or Debo Samuel at 7, DJ Moore at 6, AJ Brown at 5. And production wise, I don't care that he was a rookie last year. This guy was off the charts, got the rookie of the year for offense. Puka Nakau, CD Lamb, and here's where everybody's gonna hate me, but I put Jefferson at 3, Amon Ra at 2, and Brandon Ayuk at 1. I didn't want to go Homer, but I also wanted durability in there, which is why I put Jefferson at 3. No issues with the list at all. Okay. I mean, like, you got the 49ers, the Rams with the honorable mention got 2, the Bears, the Bucks, and the Sea Chickens. 4 teams that I gave 2 wide receivers in the top 11, my top 11. My honorable mentions, Tyler Lockett and Cooper Cup. Well, that goes without saying. Cooper Cup had a down year last year, but Puka Nakau, while he was hurt for those first few games, I see where you come from on some of those guys. I mean, Puka Nakau came out of nowhere. What was he, a fifth? All right. Have a great day, Smoking Dad. Love you. Coffee is ingested. Mountain Dew's full and ice cold. It's going to be a great day. So, Ricky and Detroit Fan Man and all those guys, what do you think of that list? Are you upset with that list? Are you okay with that list? I think tomorrow I'm going to go over the top 11 QBs in the NFC. Right. I mean, look at Cooper Cup. He was always a good wide receiver while Goff was there. When Stafford got there, he damn near broke Calvin Johnson's record. Well, we've had 3 damn nears. Justin Jefferson's rookie year, Jamar Chase's rookie year, and then Cooper Cup that year. Boom. I can live with that. This list, hard to argue, Breaking news. James Turner was just released, so it looks like the battle is Bates and Badgley. So Bistrilla, if you're out there, it's Bates and Badgley now. Turner to Chargers, probably. I can see that. They needed a kicker. They didn't take one this draft, I don't think. So that would actually probably be a fit. Because their kicker wasn't that good last year. The kicker the year before, when they could had a chance, which 2 years ago, it came down to the final game of the season, and if both teams tied, Las Vegas and the Chargers get in to the playoffs. It's end of regulation, and it's tied. You didn't have to go for it. Nothing about the Chargers was good last year. They were a dumpster fire. Well, you had both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen hurt for a good well, Mike Williams anyways. Um their wide receiver room, they took what was it? The kid out of TCU, Quentin Johnson, who looks like he's the new version of Kadarius Stonehands Jabroni. Um Guy couldn't catch a cold last year with a fishing net and a siphon and a vacuum attached to it to suck it into him. He couldn't catch shit. Um Ran horrible routes. We saw nothing of what we saw at TCU, and I was actually shocked, but I was kinda laughing about it. I was like, "Oh, his best game route running wise was when he faced Michigan. Got it. He stepped it up when it mattered." I said Led McConkey was gonna get some decent money. I didn't think he'd get that much. Um, but that's what happens when you got a head coach that pays people too. We gotta remember this. He's a part of the front office now. And I like Ladd coming out too out of Georgia. Ladd McConkey was probably one of the best slot receivers in this draft. And I always say slot because of his size. The way he plays is bigger than that. Another guy that's going to be really good is McCaffrey's brother, Luke McCaffrey. Watch out for that kid. And word is out of Kansas City that Xavier Worthy has a lot of Kadarius Tony in him, missing lob passes right in his hands in practice. Oh yeah, we all knew this. That's why he didn't take the job at Minnesota. It wasn't because he didn't want the job. They wouldn't give him the GM position, and I don't blame them. That GM Quezzy, as much as we make fun of him, he's been making good picks. But I think they'd have traded back if Penix would have been on the board. And if Falcons went either Dallas Turner or Jared Verse as expected, we'd be having a different conversation about this draft overall. Because then if you wanted Terrion Arnold, you probably would have had to trade into the top 15. Everybody forgets about that part. That pick at 8 turned the draft upside down. Denver pretended they wanted JJ, pretended that they were going to trade up. Yeah, you guys had a solid draft. Right. Absolutely, Ricky Sakat. I mean, I've said this. And the way JJ has struggled this preseason, What I expected, so happy he fell. Oh, I'm happy he fell too. I'm not complaining that Terrion Arnold fell to us. And the Rams, Braden Fiskey and Jared Verse, or who that? Yeah, isn't that who they got? Yeah, Jared Verse, Braden Fiskey, Blake Corum, Cameron Kitchens. Oh, they did get a kicker. They're not signing him. They got Joshua Carty. He's better than Turner. Sorry. Jordan Whittington, Bo Limmer, and KT Leviston. That's all. That's a draft haul. Let's look who the. Oh no, that's the Rams that got Carty. Okay. Joe Alt, Lab McConkey, Junior Colson, Justin Avegdom, um, Tarheeb Still, Cam Hart. Um, the Rams may make noise, but they did lose a lot. When you lose Aaron Darnold on and another defensive end, they did not get the next Aaron Donald. There's no way. Braden Fiskey looks good, but he doesn't look like the next Aaron Donald. He didn't have the stats in college to back that pro comp up. So 49ers is still the most complete team in that division. I don't care what anybody says. But I do expect they'll have a decent season. The Rams might make the playoffs. I got them in that 7 to 10 win slot. And Aaron Donald is once in a lifetime, and not replacing him, it's just not possible. Yeah, there's no way they're gonna hit with both those guys, even being 80% of what Donald was to that defense. That's with both those guys combined. That's just my opinion on it. You can say what you want. Ayuk and Debo. Debo doesn't have to have a contract. They extended him last year. So Ayuk is the one they're working on. One's got to go. But yeah, next season, neither one's got to go right now. They're trying to work on Ayuk, but he wants more than they're willing to give. But at the same time, Ayuk had better stats than Debo Samuel last year. That's that's the biggest thing. Debo Samuel got that contract because of the running ability he had and the dynamics he added to the play calling, but he also griped about being a running back. Right? They've been. It's more than likely it's Ayuk will be the odd man out next year. I don't think they're going to get anything for Ayuk till possibly mid-season. Because if anyone wanted him right now, they'd already traded for him. Nobody wants Debo. He's a diva. It was kind of like you kind of had to have a certain type of coach go for Diggs. It's the same thing. Diggs is a fit with the Texans because they're a team that has an established wide receiver core after last year. He's a good wide receiver, but he's not going to be able to demand those targets because he don't have the rapport with Stroud. Watch Philly grab him and CJ. Oh, yeah, that'll go over like a lead balloon. Oh, who else is on trade watch? Trey Hendrickson wants out. Uh, because of the interest that's there and who offered, and because there was offers on the table for T. Higgins, he decided to sign his franchise tag. Because guess what? None of the teams that wanted him needed a number one wide receiver. Imagine that. So he was coming in as the two and was going to get offered less than the franchise tag of $25 million. So he'll be at training camp. He lost his $150,000 practice bonus for being at OTAs because he got ignorant. And I said it wouldn't last. I said he'd still be a Bengal. And there was people in here who doubted me. Orlando, Mr. VD Titty Watcher. Such a deep draft at wide receiver, teams can afford to wait. Well, they did. That was what I was saying. Nobody jumped the gun and gave up draft capital with the receivers. Think about it. Brendan Rice went in the seventh round. Cornelius Johnson, I expected to go in the seventh round. I said that to begin with. He will be a late day 3 pick, early 6 to 7 at the at the latest. I knew he wouldn't be a UDFA, and he almost was. That was the crazy thing. But you know what? James Turner being cut stops one conversation already. We are not carrying 2 active kickers on this roster. That's what it tells me right now. James Turner, I heard great things about his accuracy. He didn't have as big of a leg as what Badgley had, but he was very accurate from 52 in, like more accurate than Badgley. So the battle is Bates and Badgley. Now, the guy that I thought was most underrated, and he fell to the 7th round, was Brendan Rice. I thought for sure he was worth a 3rd round pick over a 4th round pick. Um, Watched him bail Caleb Williams out on bad passes over the middle. I So while everybody complains that they don't have a wide receiver room for the Chargers, remember they got Cornelius Johnson, Brendan Rice, Josh. And don't they have Downs also? Dynasty sleeper for me. Yep. Yeah. Brendan Rice, you commit Cornelius Johnson, Frank Gore Jr. as well. Yeah, they got him as a UDFA. Yeah, the hate for Branch is getting old. Detroit fan man. 7 players on CBS NFL Top 100 Players of 2024: Panay Sewell, Sun God, Aiden, Ragnow, Laporta, Goff, and McNeil. Branch hosed again. That's awful. I saw Plaxico Boris, Jerome Bettis, and Ike Taylor all have sons that committed to Notre Dame for bags of money and NIL. Yes, I saw that too. I got that picture from our buddy Leonard. Brent, welcome to the chat. Better late than never. Um, I did a couple top 11 lists in the NFC, tight ends and wide receivers. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to talk about the best QBs in the NFC, doing the top 11. There'll be one guy that I won't rank because, well, I'm not going to call him a top 11 guy. He hasn't played it down. He's a rookie. I got a second year guy that won't make that list. Anybody want to take a guess? Oh, God, I can't even comment on that burner account troll question. It's so, no. Yeah, you know he won't be on there. But what second year guy will I not put in my top? He's trying to trigger us. Yeah, I know. Sometimes he asks some decent questions or makes a good comment, but no, no. Our second and fourth picks that we made in 2023. No, Jordan Love. Am I a good son? Yeah, when you're not here. No, just kidding. You ask if I need my Mountain Dew. You make it fun. Let's put it that way. Jordan Love will be on my list. He may not be as high as some people predict him to be. Purdy will be on the list and a lot higher than some people think. It's a second year guy, and there's no way in hell he's cracking my top 11. Think about it. They traded DJ Moore to get him. Do I got to give a bigger hint? Oh, I want to see more from Jordan Love too. I'm not putting him as high as some other people did because he only had a great half a season. Yes, Bryce Young. Yeah, I literally had to come out and say it. I can't believe I had to come out and say it. Wow. That one would have been a slam dunk. So there was a guy that emerged last year for the Chargers I want to talk about. And then Junior Colson just got injured on the last day of OTAs, and Darnold Parham is hurt. Yeah, he's busy material. So I'm actually looking up. Oh, bus material. Yeah, he had a bad coach. Say what you want. That guy was not right there. Dave Canales is a good QB coach. You saw he resurrected Baker Mayfield. That's why you may see a step back with Tampa. Bryce Young had a worse O line than Desmond Ritter. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass. I want to see how he does with the improved O line and the better weapons around him. Because they drafted Jordan Brooks, the kid out of Texas, and I heard he's been looking good at camp because he's healthy now. So with a solid run game, it might help him because remember he had Alabama's run game to fall back on. Where do I rank the Liners O line? It's up there near ours. I think they're in the top 10, possibly even the top 5. I'll do O line on Thursday, but tomorrow, because I want to go more in depth on it, I want to talk about why I put people where I did. He's bad, bad. I was expecting. He looks like Zach Wilson. Nah, no, the thing is Bryce Young never had the big arm with Alabama. You actually watch. It was his receivers and the way they ran routes is why they got big yardage. He's a game manager, but a midget. And they have the Carolina Panthers O line would struggle against the Georgia defense. That's all I got to say. He does not have an O line like he had in Alabama. Yeah, I'll do quarterbacks tomorrow, O line Thursday, and then running backs on Friday. That way I've got the entire offense done. Everybody, that sounds like a good thing. And then next week we can focus on the top 11 in the defensive positions. I think that's a good route to go about it. Holy smokes. Unfortunately, we lost one of our paid sponsors yesterday. So Carolina would have struggled against our national championship defense. I don't know how well our offense would move against an NFL team, but our defense would cause serious issues. I'm going to tell you this now. I'm a firm believer that there isn't a college defense, no matter how good they played, can beat an NFL team's offense. But at the same time, there isn't a college offense that'll be able to score on an NFL defense. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you took the national championship team and put it up against the Super Bowl losing team every year, It would be like a 42-7 win every time. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl losers. The team that gets the first pick would probably win by 14 against the college national championship thing. I'm not a homer. I can't even say such a thing there, Ricky. I think the Panthers screwed the pooch on everything they gave away to get Bryce Young. Oh, I said it when they did it. Yeah, we'd have got smashed by the Niners. Top 10 D. Well, we already was a top 3 running defense. I want to see no less than 16th or better for the passing defense, or I'm going to be jumping on that Fire AG train harder than anybody else in podcasting. Yeah, I'm not going to take Ben Johnson off the hook for third quarters either. Both of them were historically bad at second half adjustments to start a second half. They would change what they were doing when they didn't have to. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If they can't stop you running the ball and they get a lucky stop on one play, don't stop running, Mr. Ben Johnson. If you're blitzing and causing havoc and you have garbage wide receivers that give up a big catch every now and then, but you're holding the team down, don't change it, Mr. Aaron Glenn. We rotated the guy off of Cam Sutton. And then he got torched by everybody. Everybody. Everybody got a touchdown pass Cam Sutton after that. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown. Then last year, other than Branch and Joseph making good leg tackles, and I'm not trying to be a dick about it, he was ahead of the curve. Nobody in that secondary was tackling. Nobody. Including Mr. Big Mouth himself that got us a nasty. We all get touchdowns. Yay. Bye, Sutton. Won't miss you, bro. We had him in a bad scheme. He was not a number 1. He should have been a number 2. Gave up a league-leading 858 yards last year. Average catch against was 15.6 yards. QBR against of over 95. He was awful. He wasn't Trayvon Diggs awful like the year he had all the interceptions, but he was awful. There were games where he gave up QBR 858. Yes, I looked it up. It's 858 yards he gave up in receiving yards. You want to know what's bad about it? 710 was after that little injury he had in week 7. So for the first 7 games, he was great. As much as we hated what he gave up, he did it less. But after week 7, when he had that minor injury and came out just before the half and then didn't come back to the fourth quarter, he was straight Eli Apple. He went to DB School of the Blind, led by Stevie Wonder and Eli Apple. But yes, it is that time of day. I got to get to these. We got our favorite, absolutely 100% locked in sponsor. Doesn't even have to pay us a dime. It's FTP. That's Fornicate the Packers, or For the Pride, Flog the Porpoise, whatever you want to call it. But put that FTP in the chat because we are live on Roku, Amazon, Fire Stick, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Davies, quick on it. Yes, sir. Love it. But we lost Glossnagran for a minute. He's struggling financially. He had to take a hiatus. Hopefully he makes it back as a sponsor for the season, which is coming up soon in a couple months. When my viewership usually doubles on accident. I think people like my game previews and game reviews the way I do it. Um, I got my 3 hot players, 3 cold players, or every game. Uh, I'll do a statistic review on Mondays every time. Not a PFF thing. I don't like doing the PFF grades. They take till Tuesday or Wednesday to come out. I got other things to do. I like doing my NFL show where we do the weekly pick'em, and that's fun. That's our longest show. It runs an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes. We go through every pick of every game and predict the winners and losers. And for the people that are going to be regulars on the show, I'm going to start keeping track of your record of wins. And we might have to do a little prize through us podcasters, guys, for who leads and wins for the guys on the show, not in the chat. FTP in capital letters. I did create a new logo for us. It's going to be going up in the upper right-hand corner. It is my logo with Von Doom's combined. What do you guys think? I got it to where it's together now. I think it looks pretty good. Boxed it in, made it look stand out a little bit. What do you guys think? I had to do something to represent our guy. I had to bring it in and make him. I wanted it there. You know what I mean? It's something for our guy. But last but not least, the only sponsor I got to talk about right now is Brandon Service at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road, Flint, Michigan. Used tires starting at $40. If you need new tires, please call and get a quote, 810-233-8230. Talk to George Red or myself. If you're getting a set of tires, we will knock $10 off if you mention this ad. So come on in and see us. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes time I don't normally have. But I was so heat riddled from last week, and it's going to be worse this week, that I had to take a break. But everybody, thank you for watching. Try every day to be a better person you were the day before. It's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Have a great day, everybody.
Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.